Okie dokie, here's our product, Rustoleum Epoxy Shield. Part A is the activator, and Part B is the base. What you do is you mix them, and depending on the instructions and the temperature, you have a certain amount of time until you can apply it to the floor. So we swept up the floor. Each one of these squares took about one dustpan full of dirt. There was a little bit of dirt under the carpet, and I'm not surprised it doesn't look great under that carpet. So that's obviously a patch in the concrete there. New water heater, you can see where the old one leaked a bit. But this isn't an expose about the whole house, just the garage. So what we've got today is we've got a lot of different, probably acrylic and maybe some oil-based paints that have been left to stain the floor over the years. And we're going to wash our floor next, and then we're going to apply our epoxy base. I have some black paint, and I'm going to see if I can darken this epoxy. I looked online, and you don't really want to mix an acrylic with an epoxy, because epoxy is an oil base. So what you do want to do is mix epoxy with epoxy. Makes sense, kind of a common sense, I suppose. And I've got a little bit of black. I'm going to pour that in here, see if I like the color change on a small test, and then I'll go through with the whole thing. Let's read the instructions on how to wash the floor. Here, I'll save you some reading. It says, remove oil and grease with appropriate cleaner, pre-wet the floor with a hose, mix the enclosed concrete etch with water, and apply to a section of the floor. Concrete etch. Yeah, that's right. It did come with a powder that helps etch the concrete. Since I already used this on the last garage, I basically just got, you know, maybe 3/4 of this and half of that, or something like this. And I don't have the concrete etch. It looks like a soda water. Basically is an acid. Do not mix the concrete etch with the coating. Scrub to loosen dirt and dust. Rinse thoroughly. Rinse twice before continuing to the next section. Remove all water with the squeegee. There you are. And allow the floor to dry completely. Now you're going to pour all of part A into part B. Stir for at least 3 minutes. Mix again before applying. See chart for appropriate application times and pot life. To apply, you're going to use a brush or an edger to trim the perimeter and the hard-to-reach areas. Apply coating with a roller in 4x4 foot sections. Toss decorative paint chips onto the wet film, optional. Immediately continue to coat the next section. Dry time 12 to 16 hours is when you can start with light foot traffic. Heavy items and normal foot traffic 24 to 48. And a full cure with vehicle traffic is after 3 days. Oh boy, I don't think she's going to like that. Temperature outside is right now between 71 and 80. So we're going to start mixing, and we're going to wait 10 minutes according to this chart and start brushing and trimming the edges. And then we're going to roll 5 minutes after that. And then we're going to use the whole thing within an hour and a half. It says the best time to paint is early in the morning before 9 a.m. to ensure the best curing conditions and maximum pot life. Good deal. Alright, let's mix these guys, pour it all over the floor, and have a good time. Got our bucket, got our mop, and our squeegee. The squeegee is really great at getting water out, as you can see there. Otherwise, you're going to be, I don't know, walking around with a towel under your feet, or who knows what. A couple of big pans. But hey, this works for me. Funny thing is, the last time I used the squeegee was 3 years ago when I did the old garage floor. Really getting my money's worth out of it. I guess I should clean some windows later or something. There we have our base, and here's a stir stick. You can see how it's got that oil and then the paint. Man, that looks cool. It's like a brain. Alright. So it says to pour all of the base into here. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to make sure that the color is going to turn out nice. It's supposed to be a nice creamy color like that. Oh, that's really potent stuff. And this is clear. The clear base, or the clear agent there. Alright, nice color. And go. Stand by. And just as expected, folks, we have brown, gray, definitely gray. Compare that to the other color. Yeah, let's see. I don't know if I like it. I think I'll stick with the beige. Okay, we are ready to pour B, the activator, into A, the base. And what we're going to want to do, once again, is pour all of it and stir thoroughly for 3 minutes. Let it sit for 10 minutes based on the temperature on the chart, and then start edging after that 10 minutes. It looks like on this side of the garage they went all the way to the front, and over yonder they stopped at the door. Not good. Let's go all the way to the front. This beige color, it's going to match the exterior of the home a lot more than the gray, the ugly gray. And this is kind of a bluish gray right now. Not really crazy about it. Ready for some color. Kind of like those samples on the wall there under that climate unit. Okay, here goes. Activator. That leaves us with about 3/4 of a gallon. Okay. And stir. I'm gonna save you some time. You don't have to watch 3 minutes of me stirring. Back to a beautiful solid color. About 1.5 minutes into it. And I realized I don't have a paint tray. We get a little creative. I might have to just pour and spread small amounts here and there. Such is life. There's our bag of chips. And remember, we're going to spray the chips after we have painted. They go on as a finishing touch. You may also be wondering if you want the chips or not, trying to make up your mind. I think the good argument for the chips is that it actually helps make the little specks and spots bearable because it blends in a little bit like that. So if you were to have a drop of oil here or there on a floor that's pure beige, you would notice right away. Those chips help to blend it in but still give it some sort of uniformity so that it looks professional and it looks clean. It's 7:40, just to give you an idea of time. Sun's about to set, and I've got the edging all around. I'm going to be painting the walls, that's why I'm not too concerned with anything else. That piece of tape, I don't know. Yeah, so it's really easy. Everything's going pretty well. And I hope I have enough paint and enough sunlight. More importantly, the paint. Just to do the edging has used maybe a fourth, a fifth, 1/6, let's say a fifth to a sixth of that 3/4 gallon bit. So I've got just over half a gallon. Let's do it. 3/5 of a gallon left. Whew, 2.5 hours later, you're gonna have a sore back the next day. I barely made it in terms of how much paint I had. You can see right there's a walkway of the fresh paint, everything else I did before, and then I left myself this trail. In case I didn't have enough paint to do the corner, I could just put that carpet back, which was not a very positive outcome if that were to be the case, but thankfully I managed to stretch it out with that little bit of paint thinner that I put in there to dilute it. So it's a little thinner coat than what it should be, but considering that, you know, I got 2 garages out of 1 kit, that's pretty good. So, you know, we'll see how it looks once it dries. There are a couple of spots here and there where it's a little thinner than others. And of course you can tell a real difference after I put the paint thinner in there with how it looked on the corners, the edging, the siding, where it was concentrated, not concentrated, but, you know, full strength. And then when I diluted it a little bit, it started to get a little thinner. But at the end of the day, the product is there. The garage looks good. And I put a lot of flake on because that's what I like. So now we have to let it dry for 3 full days before I can park my cars. And that's the way it goes. I will check back in with you in a couple of days and we will see how things look. And this is 1/2 hour later, where you can see it's evened out a lot, especially on that spot there. The only remaining signs of that walkway, as I call it, are where I overlapped with the old coat. All right, all done for the day. Let it dry for 3 days and we'll see how hard it is. Frustrating thing about some of these YouTube videos is people don't follow up with how the product works, you know, after it's settled, after it's cured. So here we are, 36 hours later. It looks good. The only problem I'm having is that because I had to water it down, like I said, this is the second garage I got out of that one kit. It's got spots where it's patchy. You can see everywhere. It's not going to bother me too much. You know, once you have cars and rugs and tools down, it won't be much of a difference there. So, it looks good. There's a little bit of crunch from the little speckling. That's probably what you're hearing now. And after 12 hours, you were able to walk on it. You know, it was a little sticky, I wouldn't say sticky. And then 24 hours last night, the paint smell was still there, but it was fully dry, and you can start putting heavier things on it. And now, 36 hours, it looks like you're just about ready to park a car because it's a little thinner, like I said. Hope that helps. And thanks for watching.